What's better than love, and what's better than the day that's all about love? Enough of that. What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel, Bilo TV. I'm Bilo, and this is my channel. Today, we are going to get into the dark history of Valentine's Day. Ooh, it's spooky. Yes, it's actually pretty freaking spooky when you realize this is the origin of this holiday of love. Now, some people say this is just a myth and it's not actually true, or it's a conspiracy. You know, I do what I do and I bring y'all the facts, okay? Let's just dive into what the topic is. Let's see what we're checking out here.
Is Valentine's Day really the cutesy holiday we all think it is? History says no. First references to Valentine's Day can be found in the ancient Roman celebration of Lupercalia. However, the celebration isn't the same as you may expect. The February 15th began with the tradition of sacrificing an unfortunate goat and dog. The Luperci, a group of priests, would then take off a piece of skin from the two animals, touch it to their foreheads, and struck every woman in the area with it. They thought it may help them have more babies. The 5th century came to a close. Pope Gelasius I had enough.
Wait, I think it's kind of crazy that back then they had an evil, dark way of producing more babies, and now there's conspiracies that they have an evil way of stopping the population growth. I think it's kind of crazy how everything is a cycle and life goes in a circle, and it starts off one way and then ends up backwards. And it's like back then they used to do this, and then now we are in the cycle of the universe. Remember, we talked about sacred geometry. Everything spirals and swirls and then loops back around, and that's kind of just how yin and yang flows. And it's just everything in life is like that, and I think that's really cool. Okay,
Curious celebrations and introduced Saint Valentine's Day in its place. Just like that, February was no longer about sacrifice. It was about love. Around the same time, the Normans started celebrating Galatins Day. Galatin basically meant lover of women. Given their similar pronunciations, it's easy to see how people could have confused that with Saint Valentine's Day. And as time went on, the holiday evolved more and more to what we know it as today.
wow.
Valentine's Day was the cutesy holiday.
Hey, if you love Valentine's Day, do not watch this video. So y'all know Valentine's Day about love, romanticism, and all that. So I'm just thinking like, damn, like what's the origin of Valentine's Day? Then I came across this, the dark origins of Valentine's Day. Let's get it. So a start in Valentine's Day started in ancient Rome. And apparently these celebrations were violent. So February 3rd to 15th, a feast was celebrated. The men sacrificed a goat and a dog, and whipped women with the hides of the animals that they just killed. The romantics was drunk and naked. Young women would line up for the men to hit them because it was believed it would make them fertile. The brutal feat included a matchmaking lottery where men would draw the names of women from a jar where they would then be coupled up for the duration of the festival, y'all know what that means, or even longer. Also, two men named Valentine was executed on February 14th and was honored by the with the celebration of Saint Valentine's Day. As the holiday spread, it evolved. William Shakespeare helped romanticize the holiday and it gained more popularity. Later on, they combined Saint Valentine's Day with Lupercalia, I ain't say that right, to expel the pagans, stopping all that wild shit. Now it's a big business and commercialized. Damn, what's your thoughts on this? Real simple.
I definitely think holidays in general are like a way for, you know, people to make money. And like, I do know that like everything in America is ran by marketing. Like that's our number one asset is the people, like what we buy, what we want to buy, our desires. We are not a need-based country. We are a want and desire-based country. So everything that we spend our money on is no longer just focused on needs. It's beyond that. It's based off of wants and desires. That is like a part of the elite agenda, because instead of life being about community and we just bake bread and cook fish and feed each other and garden and take care of the sick, take care of the elderly, we are competitive and materialistic, and that's the only way they can get us to work 40 hours a week. That's the only way they could get us to not be in tune with nature and connected to our souls and God, our creator. We are literally labor slaves because everything is driven by wants and desire. So I definitely agree that almost every holiday is just like created basically to get people to spend money and be a want and desire based individual instead of just being in tune with nature and not caring about nothing, you know? Lupercalia Love Festival. Lust, drunkenness, fertility goddess, adultery with minors. Oh my goodness. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Okay. A little creepy. Oh my God.
The truth about Saint Valentine's Day might make you rattle. Yeah. So Saint Valentine's, a 26 billion with a B industry.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? These holidays generate so much money. And like you're thinking like the government doesn't sell flowers and stuff, but all the businesses that do get taxed, and that goes to the government. It's been a thing for them to have this idea of taking away the community and then the organic joy and love of life and turn everybody into labor slaves. It's been a thing, and literally that's what all these holidays are kind of about. You know, Christmas isn't actually Jesus's birthday, so it's like, yeah, they just generate money, and the more money we generate, the more money they get to take from us. I don't know what that's like though. I don't know how to pay taxes.
But why do we celebrate Saint Valentine's Day? Especially when we find out Valentine's Day originally commemorated a Christian martyr losing his head in the 3rd century. Who is Valentine? We don't exactly know who or which Valentinus was the actual Saint Valentine. And there are some options, which is one reason so many dang churches in Europe, from Rome to Ireland, profess to have pieces of his skull or his whole skull in their reliquaries, which makes one ask who in the heck do these skulls belong to. But the chronography at 354, the earliest list of Roman Christian martyrs, doesn't mention Saint Valentine, although that list was compiled by a Christian named Valentinus at the time. But later lists compiled between 460 and 504 do include this Saint Valentine, who in some versions of the tale was a 3rd century priest or bishop who ministered to persecuted Christians of the Roman Empire and was unalive in existence. Other legends say that he was a martyr in Africa, but the most popular stories by far have him located square in Rome. Regardless, the case
That looked up. Oh, Pope. Yeah. So these people were Christians and popes, and they were martyrs. And they were... Let's keep going.
February 14, 496 AD, and by the 8th century, the occasion evolved to St. Valentine's Day. So there was a dude somewhere, we just don't know exactly which one it was, and a whole load of legends developed over later centuries about the guy and his exploits. And the story became really popular in the Middle Ages. Some stories say Valentinus used to illegally marry soldiers and their wives when Emperor Claudius supposedly forbade marriages of Roman soldiers in the mid-3rd century, as Claudius believed unmarried soldiers fought better. And it was after being caught doing these marriages, Valentine was clubbed, stoned, and shot. This supposedly is where we get the idea of parchment hearts being given to one another, as Valentine supposedly did this for soldiers to carry with them to war, to remind these men of their vows to their wives and of God's love. And later versions of the story said he gave it to persecuted Christians who he would pray for. But verifiable history is a bit hazy on the subject. Another popular medieval legend is
This history is always questionable.
Taken into custody by a magistrate named Asterius during the reign of Emperor Claudius II. And while talking about Jesus, Asterius promised to convert if Valentinus could cure his foster daughter of blindness. And Valentinus said, Lord Jesus Christ, enlighten your handmaid, because you are God, the true light. And boom, girl could see. Convinced, Asterius and his family were baptized. Unlucky for them, they were all later unalived by Emperor Claudius for not acknowledging that the emperor was a god, with Valentinus being, with his body buried at the site of his unalivement on the day of Campania, where a chapel was later built. It's a great story, but again, there are very few actual verifiable facts about it. Similar legends sprouted up in the Middle Ages that Valentine was the bishop of Terni during the 3rd century and was under house arrest for.
As we can see, there's a few different interpretations of who Valentine was and the origins and why it became a holiday. And that just shows you how much history is manipulated and changed, literally. So it's kind of crazy, I would say.
Like other versions of the tale, while under house arrest, he was discussing the truth of Jesus with the judge, and to test him, the judge brought in his blind adopted daughter. Valentine prayed, and the girl was healed. So the judge was like, dang bro, okay, what do I need to do? So Valentine said he should break all his pagan idols, fast for 3 days, and then be baptized. So the judge and his 44-member household did as Valentine asked, and the judge additionally freed all the Christian inmates in his province. But in this version, Valentine was later arrested for evangelism. Claudius really liked Valentine until Valentine tried to convince Claudius about Jesus being God and refusing to worship the emperor. In Rome, it was believed that the emperor was a god, but Valentine said he couldn't worship him, so Valentine was unalive to clear the capital charge. And the day before he was appointed to lose his head, Valentine sent a letter to the judge, whose blindness was healed, and he said that it was a legend of Valentine. And he signed the letter from your Valentine. And it's this version of the story that became popular with some big time writers of the past. Chaucer, Shakespeare, guys like that. And those guys are linked to really pushing the romantic narrative of the tales of Saint Valentine, helping turn it into the holiday we know today with arguments of Eros and Cupid and stuff like that. Now, I have to put this in here because if I don't, someone's going to pop off in the comments with the whole, well, Valentine's Day is really a pagan celebration of Lupercalia. But very few scholars hold fast to that idea nowadays. And Lupercalia was a rural fertility celebration held on what's now February 15th, honoring the Roman god Lupercus. It originally involved sacrificing goats and dogs, but evolved into this crazy celebration in the city, where during festivities, horned up half-naked fellas wearing animal skins would look for women to hit with their goat whips, as it was supposed to promote fertility. And if women were already pregnant, it was thought being struck by these whips would make their babies healthy. Man. In 496 AD, however, Pope Gelasius supposedly denounced the rowdy festival and outlawed it. But he was the guy who established the first feast of Saint Valentine to be celebrated on the day of Valentine's execution, February 14th. Still, there's no direct evidence that the Pope purposefully replaced Lupercalia with the more chilled out holiday of the martyr Saint Valentine. But as I always say, no religion exists in a vacuum, so who knows? I'm sure it had something to do with it. But it's important to remember the original feasts of Saint Valentine were not about romanticized Eros and Cupid style love, but the miraculous, sacrificial hope-driven Christian love. It would be the later medieval poets who really brought the romantic portion to the forefront, literally romanticizing what would become gay for romantics, which is kind of neat. So, is Valentine's history verifiable? Not really. But the story that reaches us today is filled with the power of sacrificial love. Even 1,500 years later is an inspiration. God bless. Happy Valentine's Day.
So as we can see, there's different interpretations of the history of Valentine's Day. So as of right now, it seems as though there's a lot of people who are convinced that it's Lupercarius, whatever, a Roman holiday, Lupercalia. And then there's the Christian pagan god story. All of this stuff has been probably passed down by word of mouth. If it was written, it could have been stolen, rewritten, hidden, so we never really know the exact truth. And that's why I'm kind of like diving into different videos, because a lot of them are saying the same thing and this guy was saying something slightly different. It kind of makes you go but at the same time it's kind of creepy. Oh, we're just thinking this is about love and it's harmless, but the origin is about sacrificing. Like, are you ready to sacrifice yourself for your Valentine? I'm not. I like the flowers though.
Do you guys even know exactly how Valentine's Day came about? Valentine's Day is not even Valentine's Day. It's a day called loop. In the Roman times, it was called dies februaris. At that time, the state did not want the soldiers to be married. They wanted them strong. They were putting and setting people up to go and have sex. So we're putting a bunch of ladies' names on buckets. The guy would pick out one or two. That would be their playmates for the whole year. Oh, what? But that's when Christianity was starting to rise up. Right. This is just word of mouth. That's just told. A guy called Valentine. He was a priest. So what he used to do was marry young couples in secret. So when the state caught wind of that, they put him in jail. While he was in jail, he wrote a letter. He sent it to the people that he married, saying that I'm about to get executed. When he finished writing the letter, he wrote on your Saint Valentine. When they executed him, those people brought it to the Pope. The Pope around 496 AD, he was like, let's turn the day and make it a memorable day to Saint Valentine. If he that sick.
That's crazy. But we definitely dived into different perspectives of what the origin history might actually be. I don't know, which one do you think sounds more legit? It's different interpretations because it is never going to be exact, especially because history is always manipulated and it's hard to keep track of stuff from so long ago. To be honest, there's stuff gets lost in history and stuff gets changed, and we know this. So yeah, next time you get all worked up about celebrating the holiday, maybe you might reconsider thinking, do I even care? Am I just subconsciously being controlled by what they want us to do just to spend money? What? I don't know. If you have a loved one that you care about, tell them Happy Valentine's Day, because even though it might have a dark origin, if you celebrate something and you celebrate it out of your own spirit of goodness, kindness, love, then I think that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if it started off as a ritual or started off being evil. If you're not celebrating it with that intent, then I don't think it's something negative or could lead to something negative. I don't think it's something bad at all. So just don't get too worked up about, whether or not you get gifts or can afford to get your loved one gifts. It's all about love itself, and it's always the thought that counts. Letting the people who you care about know that you care about them, and that's all that matters. So thank you for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and yeah, see you next time. Bye. Happy Valentine's Day.